Hi everybody, Dr. Liz Carter here, and I just wanted to share with you a couple reasons why I think it is totally okay if you fall off the wagon on your diet. So I see both of these things come up in my patients a lot, so I wanted to kind of just address it here for you. So the first reason why I think it's totally okay to fall off the wagon with your diet is that it gives you a chance to reassess. It gives you a chance to see if this diet is actually something you want to be on long term and that's agreeing with your system. I think a lot of times people look at a protocol and a roadmap and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, this is great. I have a plan, I have structure, I can move forward, I'm gonna do it, which is really helpful when you need to make a change. But I think a really big part of that diet plans and books fail to address is that we need to stop and reassess sometimes, right? And this doesn't mean you necessarily have to come off the diet to do that. You can do that in the meantime and just check in with yourself and say, is this actually making sense? Am I feeling better? Is this diet resonating with me and my body on all levels? And that's great if you can do it while you're on the diet. And sometimes we just it's not really working. And instead of kind of reflecting and asking ourselves those questions, we kind of stop. We fall off the wagon a little bit, right? And then there's this impetus, oh my gosh, I've failed, I've made such a mistake, I need to get right back on it. And maybe that's not actually what you need to do. Maybe this is the perfect time if you fall off to really ask yourself, is this a good fit for me? Is paleo good for me? Is being a vegetarian good for me? Anything, South Beach, Atkins, whatever it is that comes up, right? Are these actually helpful for me? And it's good to check in beforehand, right? And see, what things are actually making a difference and tracking your symptoms, right? Seeing, did you have acid reflux? Were you maybe not sleeping well beforehand? And then checking in after a few weeks on the diet to see, are these things improving, right? And if they are, okay, maybe the diet is agreeing with you. And if they aren't, maybe you just need a little bit more time, or maybe this really isn't the right thing for you. So I do like falling off the wagon for that reason. And when my patients do fall off the wagon, which is such a negative term and like you failed, but you haven't, I really encourage them to reassess and to introspect and to see what really makes sense for them and if this is a good fit. So the second reason I really like it or am encouraged when people fall off the wagon is that it's a massive learning experience. This is whether or not a diet is good or bad for you. Usually I see it in ones that are good, like we're doing an elimination diet, we're figuring out some allergies, we're figuring out what should and shouldn't be in the diet, and then people fall off the wagon. And that's totally okay. This is part of the process. It should never be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect and just stick with a diet forever. And I don't think that's healthy because that's an extreme, right? That's, I have this thing that I want to change and I just jump immediately to my endpoint and there's no in between. And that in between spot, as uncomfortable as it is, that's where we do all of our learning. So that's what happens with this seesaw that happens if we fall off. We start to learn, okay, wow, I don't feel very good when I do that. And that maybe, over time, if we do that often enough, it becomes not worth it, right? It becomes not worth it to maybe eat something that is irritating to you that upsets your stomach for 3 days when it's made, a social situation slightly more comfortable for you and other people because you participated, right? All of these things are in this learning process, in this gray zone between, maybe a more ideal diet for you and maybe a more processed food, inflammatory diet. So this seesaw effect, I think people get really discouraged and they feel bad again, like they failed, but you absolutely haven't, and it's a necessary part of the learning process. Trust me, I have been through it multiple times myself, and I do this professionally. And that's really how I've gotten to be in a more stable place and where I am currently with my diet, and that I'm pretty happy with it in that, I've learned, I've done these things where I've said, oh no, it's fine, whatever, I'll be okay, I'll just do this one thing, and then it's not fine. Or, I'll try something, and then for me personally, it's really difficult if I give an inch, it kind of goes to a mile type of thing, which I'm working on. It's another form of moderation that's good, right? Rather than the extreme of, okay, it's just in my diet, now I want to eat it all the time now. Each of those times that I go into that, and each of those times my patients go into it teaches them more and more about what they actually want. And what you find there is people start going from the extremes, they get more moderate and they get more moderate and more, right? So these swings that happen are less so. So there's not this huge, maybe binge on junk food, or that you've been feeling deprived because you've learned your body's like, hey, I feel really good over here and I'm not super deprived anymore, right? So these swings become less and less extreme, which is exactly what we want. And to me, that's the most sustainable approach to finding a nutritional plan that is right for you. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that little tidbit. Don't feel bad about falling off the wagon. It's just, when you do reassess, right? Introspect, ask yourself what's really going on, what's happening, and you can't go wrong when you do that because you'll always find the answer and how you need to move forward. Okay, thanks so much. Take care.